Sophie Cunningham, the only star remaining in this toxic turd, the only recognizable face amongst a league filled with anonymous faces. The Indiana Felines announced yesterday afternoon that Sophie Cunningham was out for the rest of the season. Translation? The WNBA season is officially over.
Bria Hartley just delivered one of the dirtiest moments of the WNBA season. Sophie Cunningham collapsed to the floor, clutching her knee, and as she was being helped off in pain, cameras caught Hartley smirking.
Dirty, dirty, Bria, I would really hate to see ya in a dark alley. Dirty Bria Hartley back at it again with her shenanigans, and this time around, she had her eyes set on one Sophie the Trophy Cunningham. Sophie, get well soon. Hopefully the MRI later today shows nothing too serious.
Yes, actually smiling. Fans erupted. Was this just bad timing or a deliberate cheap shot that crossed the line? Because what happened next wasn't just about one injury. It ignited outrage across social media, drew furious reactions from Cunningham's own family, and reignited an old debate.
It looked like she was kind of pleased with what she done to Sophie Cunningham. Now, I told y'all yesterday, man, we have to put ourselves in a family-oriented situation. You have to put yourself in her parents' shoes, her sister's shoes, her cousin's shoes, and kind of, be emotional about this in a sense, because what if Sophie Cunningham was your daughter, your niece, your aunt, your cousin?
Is Bria Hartley the dirtiest player in the league? And should she finally be suspended? The play itself looked ordinary at first. Bria Hartley drove hard to the basket, weaving through traffic. But in that split second, her momentum crashed straight into Sophie Cunningham's right leg.
Effective down low, and she can get a lot of people in foul trouble with how physical she is.
Sun turn it over for a fifth time. Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness. Moment as we went to commercial. Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard, and she is being helped off the floor, heading back to the locker room. This is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it, and she went down hard and was clearly in a...
Cunningham instantly grabbed her knee before collapsing onto the hardwood. She tried to sit up, winced in pain, then went down again, unable to rise on her own. Trainers rushed in, helping her off the court as she leaned on their shoulders, clutching her knee in visible agony.
Now, she was on the ground, she was crying, she was yelling. It definitely seemed like she was in a ton of pain. The training staff went over to her, they went to commercial break. Like, it was a real injury. This wasn't something, and Sophie's the type of player, a lot of times when she does get injured, she just gets right back up. She tries to walk it off. This was something that kept her down, and it was so hard to see. It is ironic because Bria Hartley has been in multiple scuffles this year with the Connecticut Sun. A lot of people would categorize her as a dirty player. I will say on this play in particular,
moments later, she was ruled out for the rest of the game. From the sideline, Fever head coach Stephanie White's first reaction said it all. Holy shit. It was the kind of stunned response you only give when a body clearly doesn't move the way it's supposed to. Slow motion replays didn't soften the blow either. They made it worse. Every grimace, every frame of Cunningham clutching her knee left players and fans frozen in disbelief.
Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says, that's the direction I'm going to fall in. Even though she was getting defended from the right side, pushing her left, she decides to fall straight forward with a little bit of shoulder action, falling into Sophie Cunningham's knees. Bria Hartley is a dirty player. There's no other way to slice this cake.
But then came the moment that changed everything. Cameras caught Bria Hartley's face, and there it was, a grin. A smirk, caught live on broadcast as Cunningham was being helped off the floor. That single image spread instantly across social media. To fans, this wasn't just bad optics, it was proof. Proof that Hartley wasn't remorseful. Proof that Sophie had been targeted. The reaction was immediate and vicious. Indiana Fever fans woke up furious, convinced they weren't just watching tough basketball anymore. They were watching their players get assaulted and now mocked for it.
And it was a lot of incredulous people, right, who was saying, oh, it's not on purpose. Oh, Kelsey Mitchell shoved her over, making all kind of excuses to say that Bria Hartley is not a dirty player. Let me tell y'all something, man. Come on in here, man. Let me tell y'all something. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, eats like a duck, it's a duck, man. Come on, man. She is the dirtiest player in the WNBA right now, winning the trophy.
Sophie's sister Lindsay blasted the officials, accusing them of failing to protect players while punishing those who dared to speak out. Her mother, Paula, went even further, calling Hartley out of control on the court before later deleting the post.
In this post right here, and she simply retweeted what her sister said. Now, her mom did tweet out some things as well. This is what Mama Cunningham said. She said Hartley is a disgruntled player, having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. That's what Sophie Cunningham mother said yesterday. And prayers up for Sophie Cunningham. I put out a post too on my X account. This person said prayers up for Sophie's sister Lindsay and mom Paula are calling out the league for finding players for calling out poor officiating instead of protecting players, and for Bria Hartley history as one of the out of control players. They won't delete these tweets.
But the damage was done. The family's frustration reflected what Fever supporters already felt. Sophie hadn't been protected, and the league had failed her. And here's the thing. This wasn't just about one ugly fall. Hartley's reputation preceded her. Fans started pulling receipts. Earlier this year, she was caught on camera yanking Angel Reese's hair during a rebound.
Atkins, 7 to shoot. Cardoso rolls, catch. Cardoso over the top, can't get it. Reese fights for the rebound, and a foul, and this time gets a little chippy, and a shove on Nelson Ododa. And listen, this arena, typically we'll see some ringside fights, and Charles this time trying to fight through the official, points a long finger in the face of Reese.
In another game, she clashed with Rebecca Allen and got herself ejected.
The step through by Hartley. Allen is shaken up on the play. Westbell. Rivers climbs the ladder. Get into it. Oh my goodness. Sky and Sun not getting along despite the fact they share the same real estate.
She's had heated run-ins with Skylar Diggins and others, all of which painted a pattern that's hard to ignore.
Diggins has it, and the frustration foul by Bria Hartley. No reason for that at all.
Yeah, Neck and Gabby Williams holding back Sky Diggins.
That one is about as an intentional foul as you're going to get.
So when clips of her laughing as Sophie limped off the court surfaced, fans didn't see an isolated moment. They saw confirmation. A dirty player, once again crossing the line. Social media branded her the dirtiest player in the WNBA.
There's no other way to explain what we've seen from Bria Hartley so far this season. Grabbing Angel Reese's ponytail, what are we, in preschool? Body checking Skylar Diggins in the open court. What are we doing? Clawing at Rebecca Allen, leaving marks on her shoulder, leaving blood dripping down from her hand. And now what do? Now you take a dive towards Sophie Cunningham's knees. Bria Hartley, you know how much of the benefit of the doubt you deserve in this case? The answer is 0. You deserve 0 benefit of the doubt. Based on your previous action, your reputation precedes you. Based on your previous actions, I need to assume all of these plays that you take place in are dirty plays, because that's the kind of player you are.
Commentators echoed the sentiment, pointing out that Hartley's highlight reel of cheap shots has been growing and rarely punished. This time, many insisted the league had to act. An investigation, fines, even a suspension. Something had to happen. The outrage only grew because the officials never even reviewed the play. Not a single stoppage. No flagrant, no technical, nothing. The game continued as if nothing had happened. For Fever fans, that decision wasn't just a missed call, it was a betrayal. They believed the league was turning a blind eye to dangerous play, leaving stars like Cunningham exposed. And here's where it escalates. The Fever were already stretched thin. Caitlin Clark was sidelined with a groin issue. Ari McDonald and Sydney Coulson were both out for the year. Losing Sophie Cunningham wasn't just another injury. It was another gaping hole in an already fragile roster. On top of her scoring and toughness, Sophie's leadership had kept the team together. Without her, Indiana's season looked ready to collapse. But if the injury and the officiating controversy weren't enough, Hartley's smirk was the tipping point. That grin became the face of the firestorm. It turned suspicion into certainty, debate into outrage. Suddenly, this wasn't about one reckless collision, it was about accountability. Fans weren't just asking whether Hartley deserved discipline, they were demanding it. And they weren't whispering anymore, they were shouting, "Suspend her!" By the end of the night, Bria Hartley had become the villain of the WNBA. That grin, frozen in screenshots and replayed endlessly, defined the story. Cunningham out with a knee injury, referees accused of turning a blind eye, and Hartley walking away with a smirk. The calls for suspension only grew louder. Analysts connected the dots, the hair pulling, the reckless scuffles, the dirty collisions. This wasn't a one-off mistake, this was a pattern. And if the league ignored it again, fans feared it would send a dangerous message that you could play dirty without consequence. But here's where the story flipped. What should have been a death sentence for Indiana's season turned into one of the most improbable comebacks in franchise history. Down by 21 points in the third quarter, with Cunningham gone and Clark unavailable, the Fever somehow found another gear. Kelsey Mitchell erupted for a career-high 38 points, including 34 in the second half and overtime. She scored Indiana's first 10 points in the extra period, bearing back-to-back threes that left the Sun stunned. Aaliyah Boston anchored the front court with a monster double-double. Odyssey Sims carved up the defense with 19 points and 7 assists, and Lexi Hull delivered the dagger 3 in overtime. When the final buzzer sounded, Indiana had completed the largest comeback in franchise history, stunning Connecticut 99-93. Out of one of the ugliest moments of the WNBA season came one of the greatest turnarounds. Inside the locker room, Coach Stephanie White summed it up best. "We will never be counted out."
But we fight, live that resilience every day, and we will accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Caitlin Clark, watching from afar, echoed the pride with a simple post. "Battled, battled, battled." And Sophie Cunningham herself tweeted 3 words that captured the night. Kelsey freaking Mitchell. The controversy isn't over. Hartley's smirk, the dirty play, and the league's lack of response still hang over everything. The question remains, should she be suspended? And how should the WNBA protect its stars from moments like this? If you're still watching, drop "suspended" in the comments to let us know where you stand. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation, because this story is far from finished.
What the hell is going on? Like, what is going on? What the hell is going on? We are literally out here. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. It's a disaster. It's just an all-around disaster. But this is here. There was no timetable for Caitlin Clark to play, so it's impossible to say if it was impacted.
Caitlin Clark just shocked the world with her biggest announcement yet, and nobody saw this coming.
Official. It is a PR nightmare for the Indiana Fever. I gotta tell you, the Indiana Fever have got themselves a problem. They got themselves a real problem after, of course, we found out that Caitlin Clark suffered yet another injury literally 2 weeks to today ago.
The face of the WNBA, the rookie who's carried the Indiana Fever, the one who dragged sold-out crowds into arenas every single night, has decided to step away from basketball until April.
Yeah, I think when the injury happened, it was pretty frustrating considering I knew what the coming days were going to hold for myself. But I feel like dealing with that, and then also just like trying to look at it in the most positive manner that I can, and being a part of this, and that wasn't going to be taken away from me. Is sure, maybe I'm not able to play in the games, but I can still be here and participate. I think just it all comes back to having good perspective on everything. Certainly there's frustration and a little bit of sadness.
That's more than 200 days without the league's brightest star on the court, and fans are absolutely stunned. Social media erupted instantly. Theories started flying. Some say it's about recovery from the brutal hits she's taken all season.
Now it's time to report on that August 7th ankle injury. Question before we even get into it: what were the odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place? Just a there's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell. What is the payout for somebody who bet, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions? What's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoffs?
Others believe it's about her future in the league. A few even speculate it could be tied to endorsements or bigger opportunities beyond basketball. But here's the real question. What does Caitlin Clark's shocking announcement mean for her career, for the Fever, and for the WNBA as a whole? Let's start with the facts. Caitlin Clark just revealed she's shutting it down until April. No overseas ball, no off-season 3-on-3, no grind at all, just rest. That decision is nearly unheard of for a WNBA rookie. For years, players have relied on overseas contracts to earn money and stay in shape. But Caitlin, she's making a statement. And when you look at her workload, the choice makes sense. Clark basically played an NBA-length season in her rookie year. 81 games in just 324 days, nearly 3,000 minutes logged on the floor. She carried the Fever night after night while dragging the entire league into the spotlight. The numbers are insane. Still, fans didn't expect this. She's the biggest storyline in basketball, and now she's pressing pause. Her decision has sparked debates everywhere, from Fever diehards to league executives. Is this a career-defining move, or a risky step back at the peak of her popularity? Of course, this decision didn't come out of nowhere. Caitlin has been dealing with more than just the workload. She's been the target of brutal treatment on the court, shoved, hacked, and even tackled to the ground with referees swallowing their whistles. Fans have been screaming about the double standard all year. When other stars like Aja Wilson drive to the rim, they get the call. When Clark takes the same hit, silence. Her last game against the Connecticut Sun was a perfect example. She dropped 25 points and dished out 9 assists in a playoff war, but still absorbed foul after foul with no protection. At one point, she was straight up tackled, and shockingly, no whistle blew. Fans online summed it up. Can someone explain how that's not a foul? Oh wait, it's because it was Caitlin Clark. The controversy didn't stop there. During the same game, a heckler went after Clark non-stop until she finally pointed him out to security, and he was escorted out. It showed she wasn't just battling defenders and referees, she was fighting for respect from the crowd, too. Meanwhile, rivalries are heating up. Alyssa Thomas blasted Fever fans after the game, complaining about slurs and disrespect.
And taking care of business. What does it say to the professionality of this team that you've been able to shut out the noise?
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it, and we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it. And
Angel Reese, who tackled Clark earlier in the season, now benefits from Clark's absence. With Caitlin gone, her biggest roadblock to a championship is suddenly out of the way. The league may not admit it, but everyone knows this decision shakes the playoff landscape and shifts the spotlight. And that brings us to the bigger picture. What does Caitlin Clark's shocking announcement mean for the WNBA? The truth is simple. Clark isn't just another player. She is the storyline. Every ticket sold, every spike in ratings, every viral highlight reel this season had her fingerprints all over it. When Clark played, arenas filled up. Networks cleared primetime slots. Social media exploded with logo threes and no-look passes. She single-handedly gave the WNBA the cultural moment it's been chasing for years.
Caitlin pulls left wing, the right wing, 30-plus feet. Logo crosses over, launch it. Oh my goodness! She is back. 24-18, Fever down. Caitlin down from the right wing, 30-plus feet. Good again! No one else but Caitlin Clark. Sedantis, handoff, Caitlin from the logo, crosses over, launch it. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding?
The most dynamic player in the game. 9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes. And not only 9 and 30, but look at the depth on these field goal attempts. She's certainly feeling it.
Now she's gone for more than 200 days. That's not just a hit for the Fever. It's a crisis for the entire league. Sponsors invested millions banking on her star power. Broadcasters built schedules around her games. Fans tuned in just to see Caitlin. And suddenly, that draw is gone. The pressure now falls on stars like Angel Reese and Aja Wilson to keep the momentum alive. But let's be honest, no one has proven they can generate the same buzz. Clark's absence leaves a hole in the WNBA's spotlight that will be nearly impossible to fill. Yet, there's another side to this. By choosing rest over relentless grind, Clark is showing maturity far beyond her years. She's prioritizing her body, her mind, and her long-term legacy. Instead of chasing short-term checks overseas, she's making the smart play, protecting her career so she can dominate for years to come. And in a league where burnout is real, that decision might be her most powerful move yet. Caitlin Clark's shocking announcement isn't just about basketball, it's about power. It proves once again that when she steps off the court, the entire WNBA feels it. Her absence will reshape ticket sales, TV ratings, sponsorships, and the balance of power across the league. But make no mistake, this isn't the end. It's the reload before the storm. When Caitlin Clark returns, the hype will be bigger than ever. Fans will count down every single one of those 200 days, waiting for her comeback. And when she finally steps back onto the floor, the WNBA will light up all over again. So, what do you think? Can the WNBA survive without Caitlin Clark for over 200 days, or will the league struggle until she returns? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're still watching, drop Clark 2025 in the chat so we know you're one of the real ones. Because if you think this announcement was shocking, just wait until you see what Caitlin Clark does next.
There are players that cannot be replaced, and there are an abundance of players that no one gives a shit about. If you're the WNBA, common sense would dictate that you do everything in your power to protect your star players. You do everything you can to protect your assets. But for some reason, this dump of a league seems to protect anonymous faces over the pretty faces. They protect the players who are injuring the players that people are paying to see.
WNBA in panic. Caitlin Clark's injury just sent the WNBA into full-blown panic. Ratings are collapsing, ticket sales are tanking, and fans are walking away in real time.
Well, many of you have probably been waiting on this, as have I. But the WNBA All-Star Game ratings have come out, and all I could think of right off the bat was 4 little letters. F-A-F-O. F around and find out. You bleep around and find out what this league looks like without Caitlin Clark being involved in your biggest events. Kathy Engelbert, this should be a perfect example of why you need to get your officiating cleaned up, and you need to have a talk with your players in the league. And nobody's asking you to hold Caitlin Clark's hand. Just play fair and stop with the WWE bullshit.
But how did one player's injury bring an entire league to its knees? The truth is shocking, and it's only getting worse. The numbers don't lie. The WNBA All-Star Game ratings are out, and they're a disaster, down 40% compared to last year.
You see,
You see, this is exactly what we were talking about. WNBA All-Star ratings are in for 2025, and it is down 40%. 40% from last year. That's bad. That is really bad. We already watched the ticket prices drop by more than 50% because Caitlin Clark was not playing. This is bad news for the WNBA, and this should be a wake-up call. This should be a straight-up wake-up call with the ticket prices dropping, and now you see the show, the ratings fell tremendously.
This isn't a dip, it's a nosedive. The league's premier event, the showcase of its biggest stars, pulled in fewer viewers than a regular season Indiana Fever game featuring Caitlin Clark. Think about that. The league's crown jewel couldn't outdraw a single Caitlin Clark average night. That's not just concerning, that's catastrophic. For months, critics said Clark's fans weren't real fans, that they were only watching because of hype. But the numbers prove otherwise. The moment she was sidelined, those fans left. And the WNBA is paying the price.
There was plenty of people I saw online who said, yo, Caitlin Clark not playing. Oh, she's hurt and they don't want to call fouls. Okay, I'm not giving them a view. I'm not going to watch. There was plenty of people that boycotted watching this WNBA All-Star game. It was plenty of people. I watched it. That's how I know how trash it was.
The collapse isn't limited to television. It's hitting arenas across the country. Look at the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky matchup. Before Clark's injury, the cheapest ticket was $86. The day her injury was announced, that same ticket plummeted to $25, a 71% drop overnight.
Last Saturday, the Indiana Felines and the Chicago Bravado played on CBS. How many of you knew that? How many of you guys watched this game? 2 months ago, this matchup would have been the leading story throughout the media. But when you don't have the rivalry, when you don't have the storyline of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, this is just another painfully boring pretend basketball game. Unsurprisingly, the Chicago Bravado got their ass kicked again.
This wasn't a theory, it was cold, hard cash. The so-called Caitlin Clark effect became undeniable. Fans weren't just watching her games, they were paying premium prices to be in the building. Without her, the market evaporated. It gets worse.
This is the reality that the WNBA is looking at if they can't get their heads out of their asses. Or in this case, if they can't get their dildos off the court and back in their pockets. This Caitlin Clark injury, it was the final ingredient for the perfect storm. This injury gave the WNBA the data they need to prove that pretend basketball is 100% reliant on one player.
Indiana Fever's local TV viewership has fallen by more than 53% since Clark was sidelined. And the decline isn't isolated to Indiana. The WNBA as a whole is feeling the shockwaves. Fans who once filled arenas and tuned in on TV are disappearing. What was once momentum is now a mass exodus. And here's the kicker. The league itself fueled this crisis. For months, players, media voices, and even league insiders dismissed new fans as fake. They mocked the idea that millions of people were tuning in just for Caitlin Clark. Instead of embracing the new wave, they shut the door. Now those fans are gone, and the league is scrambling to explain why. But this isn't just about one injury. It's about a pattern. Clark's quad strain was only the beginning. Soon after, Angel Reese went down, then Sydney Colson, then Lexi Hull in what looked like a completely avoidable play. Fans are asking, is this just bad luck? Or is it bad officiating? Many believe the refereeing this season has been incompetent at best and dangerous at worst. Missed calls, dirty plays ignored, players left unprotected. Caitlin Clark wasn't just the league's biggest star, she was its greatest investment. Yet she was left exposed, and now the WNBA is dealing with the fallout. And that blame, fans say, falls directly at the feet of Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Her failure to protect stars, enforce consistent officiating, and manage the league's direction has turned a setback into a full-blown crisis. Meanwhile, the league's marketing has completely collapsed. Broadcasters are still running highlight reels of players who aren't even active. Instead of building up secondary stars, they're clinging to ghosts. On social media, the difference is night and day. Just weeks ago, viral clips of Caitlin Clark were everywhere. Now, silence. Engagement is gone. Memes, debates, viral highlights, all vanished. The digital buzz that made the WNBA feel alive has turned into a ghost town. And without cultural relevance, brands won't invest. Without brands, money dries up. And without money, the league's future darkens. Here's where it gets terrifying. The WNBA is now staring at the nightmare scenario, a postseason and a championship that nobody outside hardcore fans even notices. Imagine a trophy being lifted in an empty arena, a moment meant to crown greatness, instead reduced to silence. This is the sports equivalent of a tree falling in an empty forest. Does it even matter if no one is watching? And it doesn't stop there. The league is heading into negotiations for its next media rights deal, a deal that was supposed to bring in $1 billion, a deal fueled by the Caitlin Clark effect. But those dreams just went up in smoke. Networks see the collapse in ratings, they see the empty seats, and they know the league no longer has leverage. What was once a royal flush is now an empty hand. This could cripple the WNBA's growth for the next decade. So where does this leave us? The league gambled that it was bigger than Caitlin Clark. It mocked her fans. It failed to protect its stars. And now it's paying the price. The question is no longer whether the WNBA can survive this season. It's whether fans will ever come back once the trust is broken. Because once that magic is gone, it's almost impossible to rebuild. So what do you think? Did the WNBA gamble too hard on Caitlin Clark's back? Or is this just the wake-up call the league needed? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're still watching, comment Clark injury so I know you're part of this conversation.